The Lone Ranger is a television movie-length pilot that aired on the WB network in the year 2003. One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek poster boy, Chad Michael Murray, would play the lead character, whose name is altered from John Reed to that of Boston law student Luke Hartman. Regardless of the name change and his status as a student rather than a graduate, Hartman is the character who eventually becomes the Lone Ranger. Luke's brother, Harmon, played by Sebastian Spence, is still a Texas Ranger, so the young law student is on his way to visit his brother in Dallas, Texas.
It's not that simple. It could be.
Once Luke exits his stagecoach and takes in the wonders of the city, he comes across an Indian girl who is being accosted in a back alleyway, like something out of a big-budget superhero movie set in New York City. Luke, a dumb, albeit good-natured fellow, holds off the three thugs with nothing but a book claiming it is a concealed weapon. Just when the assailants are about to call his bluff, some guy named Chandler fires off a few shots and scares them off. Just when it looks like everything is about to simmer down, Luke helps up this rather stunning young lady and Crazy Kung Fu Man shows up! Oh wait, it's Tano.
You helped her?
Yes!
Why would a white eye help her? She was in trouble. Is everyone out here insane? I'm sorry. I just never met a white eye who would have done that.
Hey, apology accepted. If I had a girl like that, I'd probably be flying at guys with sharp objects too, right? All right, well, maybe not. Luke. Luke Hartman.
I'm Tonto. And this is my sister, Alope.
Your sister?
So, in this interpretation, Tonto has a beautiful young sister who is bound to be one of many potential love interests in this pilot that is catered to the WB audience of young ladies engrossed more by soap opera than superheroic action. Tonto having a sister is also interesting because it's not the first time someone had this idea. In the 1994 Lone Ranger and Tonto miniseries from Topps Comics, however, Tonto's young sister was murdered, and the Lone Ranger feels the burden of responsibility for her death. He keeps this burden a secret from Tonto at first, which creates some nice character conflict between two men normally portrayed as the best of friends. Had this series continued past the pilot, I foresee that Alope would have filled that Smallville Lana Lang archetype.
Maybe. Anything's possible.
The Lone Ranger also received an engrossing self-titled comic book series from Dynamite Entertainment in the year 2006. Written by Brett Matthews with art from Sergio Cariello and covers by fan-favorite artist John Cassaday, the series lasted for 25 issues. If you've never checked out the 2006 series, I highly suggest you do so. I can't recommend it enough. During the ongoing title's run, Matthews also wrote the 4-issue miniseries The Lone Ranger and Tonto by the year 2008. Another miniseries, The Lone Ranger Snake of Iron by Chuck Dixon and Esteve Poles, followed in the year 2012. Currently, Dynamite publishes an ongoing Lone Ranger comic book title that also commenced publishing at the beginning of the year 2012. Esteve Poles was carried over as the ongoing artist, with Andy J. Parks joining the Dynamite Entertainment series as the writer.
Here's the family, and what it takes to make one.
It's Mom and Dad. I love you guys. Glad you're together now.
Luke and Harmon have a short-lived reunion as one Kansas City hoss grabs Harmon to perform his duties as a Texas Ranger and apprehend the regulators that have been causing so much grief in the local area. Despite Luke's study of the law and his promise to his dead father to take over the family law firm, he seems chomping at the bit to join them. Harmon, though, isn't willing to accept aid from his inexperienced little brother.
This is what Rangers do. You're not a Ranger.
We are then introduced to some runway models who are supposedly reporters for the Dallas Tribune. Actually, Emily Landry, who is busy getting naked, is the editor-in-chief, apparently. The lady in the pink dress is Grace, Harmon's wife. Another potential love interest forming the all-important love triangle has been firmly established by the 10-minute mark. Just as you'd expect from a Lone Ranger television show, girl talk ensues.
And he's really that cute?
Just looks like Harmon did 10 years ago. Really, really. But I look forward to making his acquaintance.
Even though his brother told him specifically not to join them, Luke goes out to the Texas Rangers campsite anyway. Harmon finally gives in and figures he should at least teach his little brother how to shoot, but apparently he doesn't require any training because he's like Rain Man if numbers were bullets.
Well, you were a dead shot. You were a natural.
Yeah?
Yeah!
By this point, the story pretty much goes how you might expect it to. The Texas Rangers are all massacred with the exception of Luke, who is saved by Tonto. Kansas City Hoss ends up being a merge of the Judas-type character that would betray the Texas Rangers, but also serves as the leader of the outlaw regulators to save time on setting up two separate characters. There is, however, a local community leader, James Landry, who is actually masterminding events behind the scenes to a greater purpose. But Kansas City Hoss is pretty much the physical enforcer of a hiding in plain sight ongoing nemesis had the series been picked up.
Damn, Kansas, you scared me.
Well, that's because your mama didn't raise no fool.
New elements occur during Luke Hartman's recovery, such as the introduction of Tonto's mentor, Kulakina, his tribe's medicine man played by Wes Studi.
You have found a new story.
In this interpretation, Tonto and his people are Apache, which makes sense as there were Apache in southwest Texas. However, don't mistake Tonto and the Ranger training together in secret as going all Brokeback Mountain or anything. It's just passing on his ways to a white eye would be considered by most in the tribe as sacrilege. However, Kulakina is the one who comes up with the idea for Luke to become a masked adventurer.
Your face is the face of a good boy. And the good will love and respect you. But the evil care not for love and respect. They care for only one thing. To beat them, Luke Hartman, you must show them something you do not have. You must give them a face to fear.
Whoa.
Yes, a mask. It can protect your good face and fill them with nightmares.
Kulakina then suggests that Luke eat some peyote and go on a vision quest to decide his new path. Instead of saving Silver from a buffalo attack or rescuing the horse from a ditch, in this version, Silver serves as some sort of animal totem or spirit guide to Luke, all the while making super lame Smallville-esque puns that are supposed to be the epitome of clever.
Hi. Yo. Silver.
What's most interesting is that Luke actually wants to kill the bad guys in this television pilot, but Silver, his spirit totem animal, will stop Harmon from actually carrying out the deed. Plus, there's Tonto's sister, Elope, tending to and dressing Luke Harmon's bloody open wound, which to young prepubescent teen girls is probably like, so hot! There's even a sexy time bath scene with Tano's hot sister. It's like they put everything that was popular with the WB's audience demographic into this one pilot. However, I don't think much, if any of it, belongs in a television pilot about the Lone Ranger. But there's no call to get too outraged, as Luke is only fantasizing about sexy bath time, and really, who could blame him?
You cannot let your passion get away from you. You must remain calm and focused.
But I am not calm and focused. I don't want to kill the son of a bitch.
Yeah. But passion is like a horse. It doesn't diminish just because you harness it. It just takes you where you want to go.
There's some awful training sequence with a bow and arrow set to rap music, and Luke really wants to learn how Tonto enables his crazy kung fu man superpowers so he can use them in upcoming battles. The two men might have come to an understanding, but they still have what we'll describe as name shame.
Thanks, Kimosabi. Thanks for teaching me.
What'd you call me?
What? Kimosabi, I heard two relatives call each other that.
Don't. I'm not your Kimosabi. I'm proud of you, but we're not Kimosabi. You understand? One spot ranger. The other's on Apache land.
Wait, what did you call me?
Ranger.
Don't. I'm not a ranger. My brother was a ranger. Understand, Kimosabi?
The Lone Ranger and Tonto finally take the offensive, driving away Kansas City Hoss and his men from attacking innocent landowners. Landry then sends over the sheriff, who is also part of the regulator conspiracy, to have a talk with Kansas City Hoss, as these confrontations with a masked man have been making the rounds. Things don't exactly go too well for the sheriff.
Call my savagery incompetent? You stupid bastard! You think that's a good motivator?
So remember how I said Silver, the spirit guide animal, didn't approve of shooting down an enemy that's clearly trying to kill you? Well, apparently that courtesy doesn't extend to blowing them the fuck up. Anyway, the Kung Fu Ranger chooses to save Tonto rather than pursue vengeance, and now the two are broke-back bros for life.
Then we have saved each other's lives. That is a sacred bond. Kimosabi.
Kimosabi.
At the end, Hoss is defeated, but he's not killed. Another oddity is that somehow, although the remaining Hartman family understood their husband and his little brother to be dead, Luke is back in the household now in the epilogue like nothing's ever happened. He hangs out and reads a story to Harmon Jr., who is basically the equivalent of Dan Reed, and because we need to set up even more love triangles, or maybe they're squares or octagons or whatever, Grace introduces Luke to Emily. Of course, there's always a catch.
James Landry. I'm Emily's dad.
It's nice to meet you.
If this show had continued, what wonderful catfights between Emily and Elope there would have been. I don't really have much more to say other than it's probably a good thing this pilot never got picked up. Trying to shoehorn the Lone Ranger into the mold of a tween drama is probably a lot more trouble than it was worth.
Of course, if you decide to stick around here, I'm sure there would be plenty of trouble for you to get into.
Really? Tonto, maybe we should just hang around here for a little.
No, we're going to town. This one doesn't need to get into any trouble. She is trouble.
Hi. Yo.